Hello and welcome to knitting lesson number 1. This is going to be a long tail cast on. I'm Shari. I'll be your instructor today. A long tail cast on is the most common cast on in knitting. And basically what it means, just like it sounds, is after you cast on your stitches, you have a long tail left over here. So when you're measuring this out, you want to leave enough yarn for there to be a long tail and as many stitches as you need for the project you're working on. For this example, I'm going to be casting on 10 stitches. So I'm going to work my way down the yarn a little bit. And here is where I'm going to make my slip knot. If you don't already know how to make a slip knot, I'll show you how. I'll also be showing you an alternate way to cast on after we're through with this demonstration that doesn't use a slip knot. A slip knot is a good skill to have anyway, especially if you're going to be learning to crochet at some point in the future. So to make a slip knot, take your 2 fingers, wrap the yarn around, pull your fingers out. Okay, now you have this loop. It's not attached, it's just a loop. And on this side you have your tail, and on this side you have your working yarn. This is attached to your ball of yarn. So with your loop, you're going to take this working yarn and you're going to hold it behind the loop, just like that. It almost looks like a phi sign if you're familiar with that. And you're just going to pull that little piece right through the middle. You're tugging on your tail to make it tighter. And now you have your slip stitch with your working yarn and your tail. So there's 2 pieces of yarn hanging here. To make this loop smaller, you pull your working yarn. As you pull it, the loop gets littler. So at this point, we're going to pick up our needles. Today I'm using size 10. They're US 10, 6.5 millimeter bamboo needles. I like to use bamboo for beginners as opposed to metal or plastic because I find that the yarn doesn't slip off as much. It's just easier to use. So I've now dropped my yarn. So let me reach down here and grab that. Okay. And we now have a tangled mess. So we'll just pull up my slip knot here. Ooh, where did my slip knot go? Here it is. Okay. So now we have our slip knot here. You're going to pick up your needle in your right hand and you're going to slide the needle through your slip knot. Now you've got 2 pieces of yarn here, your working yarn right here and your tail. You're going to take both of them and pull them taut, and that just tightens up your slip knot here. You want it to be able to move across the needle pretty easily, but you want it to be pretty firm as well. You don't want it to go too easily. You don't want that falling off your needle while you're working. So with your needle in your right hand, you're going to put your right index finger right on top of your slip knot. I find that's the best way to secure it. And you have these 2 pieces of yarn hanging here. So you've got your slip knot, which counts as your first stitch, and then you have your tail and your working yarn. With your right hand, you're going to take your index finger and your thumb. You're going to make a little bird, okay? Little bird. And you're going to put the bird in between your tail and your working yarn, just like that. And then you have these extra 3 fingers hanging out here. I like to wrap them around both strings of yarn. Both strands are in my fest. Now you're going to take your little bird and you're going to open up your fingers into an L shape. Can you see that? I'm not sure what's on camera and what's not. So that's your L shape. When you turn your hand around, this is the proper form. You have your slip knot and a V shape, a loop around your thumb and a loop around your pointer. So you're going to take your needle with your right hand. You're going to go under the loop on your thumb, over the loop on your pointer. Now you still have this loop on your thumb. You're going to go through the loop on your thumb, let it go with your thumb, pull tight. Okay? And that is your cast on stitch. So you have your slip knot, which counts as your first stitch, and your first cast on. Let's do it again because we're going to do 10 of these. You're going to make your bird, put it between the 2 strings, grab on with your other 3 fingers, just like that. Open up to make an L. Make sure you're holding on to your stitches. Under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Okay, again. Bird, make an L, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. And again, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Now we're about halfway done. See, every loop on your needle is 1 stitch. Remember, your slip knot counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway there. Make your bird, put it between your 2, your tail and your working yarn, grab on, open up to make an L, under, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. And again, bird, in between the 2, grab on, make an L, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we need 1 more. Bird, woo, put your bird between the 2, grab on, open up, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Okay, so now you have your 10 stitches. Let's just count again to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 stitches on your right needle. Now you have 2 threads here. Okay, you have your tail. There's your long tail for your long tail cast on, and you also have your working yarn. Now when you turn this over, be very careful not to knit with this tail right here. You want to knit with your working yarn, because if you knit with your tail, you're going to run out of yarn before your project is done. So just be careful of that, and remember that you want to pull tight. Make sure this is flat at the bottom. Okay, now I did mention that I would show you an alternate method of casting on that does not involve that slip knot at the beginning. So let me show you that method. Just pull this out. So now you have your yarn, and in the location where you would normally make your slip knot right here, you're going to go back to your bird and just drape the yarn over. So you just have yarn resting over your bird fingers, right? Then you're going to take these 3 fingers, wrap them around the yarn like you did before, open up, take the needle with your right hand, and just slide it under the yarn. And you're going to take your right index finger, and you're going to hold the yarn right there, right where your slip knot would be. Now when you pull back, it looks just like it did when you had your slip knot there. You have the V shape, a loop over your thumb, and a loop over your pointer finger. You're going to go under, over, through the loop, pull tight, and now where you had your finger, that becomes your first stitch, just like your slip stitch was. And then this is your first cast on. So let's do it again. Make your bird, go in between the tail and your working yarn, open up, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway there, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight, under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, one more. Under, over, through the loop, pull tight. Now it's important, once you have your 10 stitches here, you want to make sure you're pulling tight, because this right here, you want this line right here to be as straight as possible. If your line is a little wonky, it's probably because you're not using the same tension every time you pull tight. If some are looser than others, it's going to be a little wobbly. So you do want to work on this. That comes with practice. It's not going to happen right away for you. For this particular project, it really doesn't matter. But you do want to pay attention to it, because as you get better and start doing larger projects, it is going to make a difference. If you're making a scarf or a blanket or something, and if this isn't straight, you're going to have a crooked edge. So you do want this to be straight, or as straight as possible. But again, it comes with practice. So that is your long tail cast on.